on 1019 WDET FM. I'm Tia Graham. In 2020, Detroit DJ and producer Carl Craig was tapped by DIA, Arts Foundation in New York, to construct a sound installation inspired by the techno party scene. It was called Party After Party, and it was a deeply personal sound and light exhibition that captured the euphoria of the club environment and the loneliness after parties ended. Now, Carl Craig is mixing it up by going in a new, more scientific direction. Craig is now the Arts Power-Up Artist in Residence at Michigan State University. The residency embeds renowned artists on the college's campus to collaborate with the university's scientists. Craig is working with MSU's Facility for Rare Isotope Beams, or FRIB. It's a nuclear physics lab, and for most people, what nuclear scientists actually do while at work is a mystery. And the scientists know that. That's why they brought Craig in. It is his job as a world-renowned artist to learn what FRIB, what it does, then translate it into a sound-rich art installation so people like you and me can understand what they actually do. Carl Craig spoke to the Metro's Kerry Jr. II about his approach to this challenging task and why he was so eager to take it on.
All right, so you've got like a whole year to develop this installation. Where are you right now in this process?
We're still scouting locations. Because I've done pieces in parking garages, basically, at Dia Beacon and also down at Michigan Theater here in Detroit, that, to do this piece in a venue similar to what I've done before in comparison to it being inside of a formal museum,
right?
We're perusing all the options.
How does where you put it change or alter or inform the vision for the installation?
It's about the feeling that you get, because my piece is Party After Party and Runway, but Party After Party in particular is based off of my experiences doing, raves,
after parties,
but in any space. So in order to throw a party, back in the day, warehouse party or whatever, you needed a sound system in a warehouse, and that was it. So there wasn't anything about getting a cabaret license or being in a formal venue. So I think a lot of folks, when they have the impression that you're going to do a party, they think like, okay, it's got to be a formal event, like you're doing a wedding or something. But the whole culture of techno music comes from doing parties, appropriating spaces to do parties. So it doesn't have to be in a nightclub. It doesn't have to be in a banquet hall or anything like that. It's the more underground, the better.
I do want to kind of talk about Party After Party. You did that in partnership with the DIA Art Foundation, right, at their Beacon Museum location.
Correct,
in New York.
Yes.
Talk about the approach there. You're recreating the vibe of your rave scenes. But like when you get that request initially and when you found out what this opportunity was, what were your feelings? How did you want to approach it? Because this wasn't your first time doing kind of artwork outside of producing.
When Kelly Kivlin came to me about the project, I believe they wanted to do something that was like an outdoor festival. But I wasn't interested in doing anything like that. So it morphed into doing an installation, and that I was interested in. That's challenging to me. Something that not only piqued my interest, but also stirred my creative juices. And I had to make a determination when doing it how the piece would be, whether it should be that I should be thinking of it on a contemporary level, that it should be something with paintings or drawings or, sculptures or stuff. And it's like, I'm not that kind of artist, So by me trying to walk into a situation like that and try to assimilate, just shows that I'm faking the funk, and by doing a piece based on my experiences. That's a sound sculpture. That's something that I can do. That's something that I can really sink my teeth into, and that it'll be real.
What was the most challenging part of stepping into that realm?
Convincing myself that I could actually do it.
Why didn't you think you could on the beginning?
Again, I mean, Dia is it's an entity that is respected worldwide for a certain type of art.
Can you break that down for me? Like what do you mean by that?
So when you're talking within modern art, there's no discussion of Rembrandts. There's no discussion of any other form or artists that are outside of people who work within the realm of modern art from, say 1920 to present. So there's a lingo that's going to be used that's going to be different than when you discuss the Renaissance artists or the other master artists from other centuries.
And how did that present a challenge to you?
I had to not only adjust myself to the language, similar to going to Spain and speaking to people in English, but trying to understand what they have to say in Spanish so that we get on the same level. But also, I have a friend that works for me that's in that world, and she was my in between, my go person. Okay. So anything that I didn't quite understand, she could interpret it and then explain it to me in a way that would be like a 6-year-old can understand it.
This is the Metro on 1019 WDET. I'm Kerry Jr. II. My guest is legendary techno producer Carl Craig. He is the Arts Power Up Artist in Residence at Michigan State University. It's a residency that embeds renowned artists on the college's campus to collaborate with scientists. Craig is working to translate the work of MSU's Facility for Rare Isotope Beams, or FRIB, into a sound installation. You're now moving to science and nuclear physics. Is this more or less intimidating than the first one?
No, it's more intimidating. I mean, when with dealing with music and visuals and art and stuff, we have a common ground. But when dealing with people that are physicists, that are scientists, many of them don't care about music in the same way, So, and what they're interested in musically is something that's totally different than what I'm into. And so, it's something similar to if I'm talking to somebody who works for the post office or works for TSA or whatever, their understanding of music is based on their experiences, but also their taste. And they can love music, but they can hate my music. So when dealing with scientists, we're dealing with people who have PhDs in the sciences, their attention is really on their work.
In this instance, your job is to almost translate kind of the work that they do into something that's more palatable. It's a fascinating task to undertake. You're going to plan out this next year for an installation. What are the things you want to know from them, from FRIB, about nuclear physics?
They have this laboratory, and their goal is to get that one thing. And the preparation for it versus the actual process is in time is so much different. So you have these theoretical physicists that are coming up with equations of how it should happen, and then you have the engineers that make it happen. But that could be months. But the actual process, the actual experiment takes seconds.
Sure.
And what I have to get a grasp on is what those seconds sound like.
Wow.
And the discussion I have a lot with those guys is, what are the ambient sounds? What do you hear? They say they hear fans a lot. Mm-hmm. They hear machinery. And from somebody who is ignorant to it, like mm-hmm. myself, I'm expecting to hear Star Trek mm-hmm. lasers, and I'm expected right. to hear these things these things that have been envisioned for television and movies and stuff. So my job in making this piece is going to be to cross that, to make that bridge come closer for people who are the experts at FRIB and the people who don't even know what FRIB are. Those guys are hear it and be like, okay, that's FRIB. I understand it. And then the people from outside are like, oh, shoot, that's really what it's like. And it'll be interesting for them.
Right. The early stages of this installation is finding the environment, and there's a feeling that you're trying to evoke. From what you've gathered, what is the feeling thus far of FRIB and trying to find the rare isotopes? What's that feeling?
The actual labs can feel quite industrial and sterile, but the people are quite warm. So the theoretical physicists, with my interpretation, the closest thing could be Sheldon from Big Bang Theory or something, because that's what those guys do in that TV show. Mm-hmm. And Sheldon is super sterile, super clinical,
right?
And these guys aren't that way. These guys are definitely looser than what television has made us believe what theoretical physicists are.
Why do you think you're right for this project?
Because I'm Carl Craig.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I've been doing this for a long time, and
but the rare isotope thing is different, though. This is new.
Look, I've been known for trying anything. Sure. So I've done work within multiple genres of music. Mm-hmm. So I haven't found that a genre of music has kept me from doing anything. I've done jazz, I've done classical, I've done all kinds of styles of music, as well as what I've done with my installation pieces, which is the next step. So to walk in to do something inside of the sciences is an interesting thing for me, mm-hmm. and if it can be interpreted correctly, then it goes into my art portfolio. It goes under my belt of things I've done in the art world. I'm not trying to be a physicist. That's not the job. I'm going to interpret how they imagine sonically the splitting or the finding of rare isotopes by splitting atoms.
Carl Craig is a DJ, a producer, and this year's Arts Power Up Artist in Residence at Michigan State University. The residency embeds renowned artists on the college's campus to collaborate with scientists. Craig will translate the work of MSU's Facility for Rare Isotope Beams, or FRIB, into a sonic art installation. Coming up, we'll hear about advancements in Alzheimer's testing and how new testing is equipping families and individuals with knowledge. Stay right there. We'll be right back. This is The Metro.